Hello and welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where with some trepidation, but a great deal of anticipation, I'm going to be attempting the new puzzle by Dyer. She has come up with a puzzle called Basket, and it has turned many of you into basket cases. It's apparently very, very clever and very, very difficult. I love Jay's puzzles. She is a genuine genius, an absolutely phenomenal mind. So you always know when you tackle a J Dyer puzzle, you're tackling, or you're doing battle with somebody whose intellect is off the scale. And I think some of you have thrown a lot of hours at this one. Some people have done it and say it's brilliant, but some of you I know have thought you'd be able to solve it, because I think it's only got a 4-star out of 5 rating on Logic Masters Germany, but have found it rather harder than you were suspecting. So you've requested that we have a look at it, so I'm only too happy to do that. And we shall see how I get on. The rules are pretty normal. If you're used to variant Sudoku and you know what purple lines normally mean, then you're good to go. But I'll read the rules properly in a moment or two's time. Now, I don't have very much news for you today. I don't have any birthdays to tell you about. So I suppose I should say, if you do enjoy the channel, please consider subscribing and help us to teach the YouTube algorithm that these wonderful, wonderful puzzles deserve as large audience as we can give them. And the other thing is that we are closing in on the 20th of October, which is the closing date for this month's competition. So I know over 1,000 of you now have solved our Sudoku hunt, which was our Patreon reward, Caroline's Halloween Adventure by the Paint by Numbers Institute. You've got 2 days left if you haven't got your entry in yet. And believe it or not, even if you haven't started it, you can easily get it done in 2 days. The puzzles are approachable, and they're obviously these rather wonderful puzzles where you get a picture, a Japanese sum Sudoku where you get a picture for your efforts. If you get the puzzle right, the picture should make some sort of sense. So do have a go. We haven't quite decided on the prize yet, but it's possible one prize might be a Sudoku lesson with me. I don't know if you'll even want to win that. You might prefer to get a game key. But yeah, that's possible. Anyway, let's have a look at the rules of Basket and let's see what Dyer has in store for us. These are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so that means we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Digits may not repeat on either marked diagonal, so this collection of cells, sometimes called a positive diagonal because it would have a positive gradient if we plotted y against x. Those cells all have to be different, and these cells on the other diagonal also all have to be different. That's the negative diagonal. So that's another rule. Right, what's the next rule we can read out? We've got digits on a line form a set of non-repeating consecutive digits which may be in any order. So let's say we worked out this digit here was a 1. Now, because the digits on the line overall have to be consecutive, we therefore know that line contained the digits 1, 2, 3 and 4, and the 2, 3 and 4 would have to be in those squares in some order. We wouldn't know the order. The order can be completely random, but it would have to be the digits 1, 2, 3 and 4. Digits connected by an x sum to 10. So we've got 2 of those, and digits connected by a v sum to 5, and we've got 2 of those, and that's it. So do have a go. The way to play, as always on the channel, is to click the link under the video. That will take you to a page that looks identical to this one, where you can play the puzzle on whichever device takes your fancy. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. I mean, the most obvious thing to say here is that there is an incredible amount of rotational symmetry in this puzzle. I mean, if we ignore... Well, I mean, maybe if you don't... If you spin the grid around just 90 degrees around its centre, these funny shapes in the corners all map to each other, as do the diagonals. And if you spin it around 180 degrees, even the x's and the v's would land on each other. So it's only these small rem bands that are breaking the symmetry. But how long are these renbans? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a 7-cell renban has to have a lot of digits on it. I mean, if we decide there's a 1 on this renban, it would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we started with a 9, it would have to be 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So these lines always have 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 on them. So hang on, now I'm confusing myself. I was thinking the puzzle's impossible to solve, but that cannot be true. Okay, what I'm thinking about, just to share with you the nonsense probably that my brain is contemplating. Yeah, oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, so this is actually immediately interesting. I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to get a pencil mark from this, but it's something that feels like it's to do with the concept behind the puzzle. These funny squiggle lines, whatever you call them, this top left squiggle and the bottom right squiggle, and indeed these squiggles, but let's just focus on the ones I've coloured in. These two squiggly lines definitely each have the digits 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 on them. That's what we just worked out. But the number of coincidences, if you like, imagine you put 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 on this green line, all in box 1. Well, now the puzzle is broken. And the reason it's broken is that this line also has to have 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 on it. And, well, let's explain the simple case. If all of those digits are on the line in box 9, then where are you putting 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 on the negative diagonal? You can't put them there and you can't put them there. So you've got to put all 5 digits into only 3 cells on the negative diagonal. That clearly cannot be right, can it? Now, if you do put all 6 of these digits into this box, then there's nothing you can do to fix it. You could take one of these digits out of box 9 and hide it here, but that would still give us 4 digits in common between the green set up here and the blue set in box 9 down here, and that we can't put 4 digits in here. So there can be at most 3 digits in common between this collection of digits and this collection of digits. So how are we going to achieve that? And I think what we have to do, or what I feel like we have to do, if I make that digit one of these funny digits, then I only have to put four of the remaining digits. So say this was a 3. This would only have 4, 5, 6 and 7 on it. Now in this one, I now have the ability to put the 3 into these squares, don't I? Because there is no 3 in those squares in box 1, so I'm not going to have a repeater, if you like. So I can now put 3 in here, but I can only put 3 of the digits 4, 5, 6 and 7 down here, because otherwise I'm going to have 4 digits in this collection of digits. So I have to put one of the digits 4, 5, 6 and 7 in here. So what we end up with, yeah, I mean, I'm going to get a pencil mark from it. What we end up with is a situation where we always have to hide one of the digits 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 in these sticky outy things, so that we don't have too many coincidences between these 7-cell rem bands in the corner boxes. That's really clever. And what that means is, though, you can't avoid there being 3 coincidences, because there are 5 digits that are in common between this line and this line. And how would we avoid there being 3 coincidences? You couldn't do it, because you can only hide 1 digit in each case off the line. And so that also means that the diagonal here must be 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And all of this logic, remember the symmetry. We have not, in thinking about this logic, even considered these little Rembrandt lines or these X's and V's. So it must apply absolutely, what's the way mutandis mutandi or something, to these thingies as well. So this must be 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. This must be 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And the same is true in the middle box, look. So what does that mean? Well, I tell you what it might mean. Let's get rid of green and get rid of blue and just say blue. So blue is not one of those digits, is it? These are the common digits between this line and this line. So blue in box 9 can't repeat on its own pink line and can't go in the corner. So blue is in one of those squares. Blue is not in these squares. Blue is not here, so this is blue. That's huge. Okay, so we can actually pinpoint exactly where that digit now goes in the middle box. And that must work here as well. So green is in one of those squares. Green is not there. Green can't go in its own column, so that's green. Right, let's do the same here. We'll make this grey. So grey is in one of those 2 squares. Not here. Not here, so that's grey. And then what colour should we make this one? These are the questions. Orange? So orange is in one of those 2. And orange can't be on the diagonal, so that's orange. That is correct. So what does that mean? This is 5 in the middle. It's always 5 in the middle of variant Sudoku. Let me just mull this over now. So no, I haven't quite got this yet, have I? I've packed all of 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 into sort of the internal portions of the diagonals. Yeah, that's not going to do it either, though. The corners, therefore, have to be from 1, 2, 8 and 9. And that's simple. I mean, you can just look at the diagonal. You can see, if we just look at the diagonal, you can see 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 are all pencil marked or coloured within the middle 7 cells. So the outside cells, these all have to be different, by the way. This is a feature. Let me just make those yellow for a moment. This is a feature of diagonal Sudoku, is that this square, well, in ordinary Sudoku terms, we could see absolutely it couldn't be in its own row and it couldn't be in its own column, but because of the diagonal, it also can't be in the other corner of the grid. So these are a set of the digits 1, 2, 8 and 9. So that's interesting, because that means we're going to have to offset what the 1s and the 2s. And what I'm seeing there is in column 1, where are, well, imagine this was a low digit. So let's just say for the sake of example, this is a 1. Well, what you can't do now is make this a 2, because this V would be impossible. A V domino is either a 1, 4 or a 2, 3 pair. So if this was a 1, then the 2 in yellow would be in one of those 2 squares. So if that was a 2, that would put pressure on the X here. Because if that's a 1 and that's a 2, This can't be 1, 9 or 2, 8. So this would have a coloured digit on it. Because it couldn't be 5, obviously. But, okay, let me think about that again. If this is 1 and this is 2... Oh, no, oh, wait a moment then. So these are different. Is that what I'm supposed to conclude from that? Sorry, yeah. So what I'm now thinking, I've worked out that you can't have, I can't have 2 low digits in the same column. So that means if this was 1, 2 would be on the other side of the grid in one of those. Now what that means, imagine this was 1. This V would be a 2, 3 pair. But this V would see a 2 in one of these squares. So this would be a 1, 4 pair. So these are different versions of V. I'm actually going to record... Well, am I going to record that? I'm going to change my colouring as a result of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say this contains a low digit, a 1 or a 2. I don't know what that low digit is, but what I'm saying is because it doesn't go in those squares, it goes in one of those squares. And I'm going to say this contains a low digit, which is not the same as the yellow low digit, and that goes in one of those 2 squares. So I've got virtual 1, 2 pairs between yellow and green in columns 1 and 9. So and does this... I think it is also true to say that the little squiggles have to be extreme. But that might be wrong. What do I mean by extreme? I mean... Well, what I mean is... And I might be wrong about this, but what I mean is that either the squiggle is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or it is 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I don't think it can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, it definitely can't be. Wherever the 2, whichever one of the corner digits is 2, and whichever one of the corner digits is 8, they are really problematic. Let's just try a 2 here. Let me see. Let me show you what I've seen, why I can see that's difficult. That is very difficult because now on this squiggle, where do you put 1? And the answer is you can't put 1 on the squiggle. Because if you put 1 on the squiggle, it's a set of consecutive digits, so it must have 2 on it. And you cannot, once you put this 2 in the corner, you cannot put 2 on the squiggle. And the same is true for 8. Obviously, if you put 8 in the corner, where do you put 9 in this box now? It can't go on the squiggle. Now, so if that's 2, 1 is on the diagonal along with the green digit. So the other diagonal would be high. And if that was 9, one of these would be 8, and it couldn't have 9 on its squiggle. So its squiggle would be, so its diagonal would be 8, 9, and orange. So this diagonal would be 1 here. I'm not sure I'm right about that actually. Sorry. I think there is something, but it's not quite good enough for me to conclude about the squiggle. I think. I might be wrong. So what I'm thinking is, let's just go through this together. If this is 2, obviously 2 now gets wiped off all of these. So 1 can't go on this squiggle. So 1 is in one of these squares. So this becomes 8 or 9. And the 1 is definitely in one of these squares. And then we have to make a decision about where 8 lives. And 8 could be here, in which case 9 would be here along with blue. So this would be 8, 9, blue as a diagonal. And these would be a 1, 9 pair. And if you put, let me just think about this, if you put 1 in the corner, and then this would be 9. On this diagonal now, you can't put 1 in here. So you would have to put 8 in. So this would be extreme, although that's far more complicated than I was thinking it was going to be. Is there... There might be something else here, you know. That's a really weird thing. I don't even know what to call it. My spider sense feels like these REM bands are extreme. But I think to prove it, I'd have to do a lot of case testing. I can't quite see it. I can't quite see it clearly enough to do it a different way. So let's try something else. I think that's probably not what we're meant to do. What about... Oh, actually, maybe I could do it differently. No, I think I can do that. Sorry, I've got a bit obsessed with this now as a thought. Maybe I can see my way through to... I have to put 2 and 8 into some of these squares. So wherever the 2 lives, that is definitely going to be on a 1, 2, and then a coloured digit diagonal. So the other side is definitely going to be... It's going to have an 8, 9 in the corner. But it can't have a 1 on the diagonal. So in order for its REN band to work, it's going to have to be 9, 8 and then the coloured digit. And then in the other direction, it is still tricky to see because it does depend what this digit is, whether it's 9 or 8. If it's 8, then you've got 1 and 9 here, and these would definitely be extreme. If this was 9, it still has to be 9, 8. It does, yeah, okay, I've now convinced myself. It is actually quite... It's quite hard to see, and therefore I don't think it's necessary. But it is interesting. So let me just go through it again. What I am claiming, and there may be a better way of seeing this as well, because it surprises me that my instinct takes me here, but to really see it, I'm having to sort of step through it. That wherever the 2 is, because it can't have 1 on its REM band in its box, the diagonal is going to contain this pattern. So let's just imagine that the 2 is in this corner. Then we can go down here and we can see that there is no longer any 2 in any of the other diagonals. But we know one of these corner digits is 8, and that's going to work in exactly the same way. So we're either going to have, we could have the 8 here, in which case this diagonal would be 8, 9, blue. Or we could have a 9 here, in which case one of these is 8, in which case that diagonal would be 8, 9 and a colour, and the other diagonal would be 1, 2 and its colour, because it couldn't have 8 or 9 on it. But either way round, you always get this weird position, where because on the 8 diagonal it consumes the 9. Yeah, this is how to see it. Sorry, I can now explain it, I think, a little bit better. Because on the 8 diagonal, the 8 will always partner with a 9 on the diagonal. The other corner, which is going to either have a 1 or a 2 in the okay, I've got it much better. Let me explain it differently, because I think it'll be clearer. And my intuition, it was right, but I have now seen a way of explaining that intuition clearly, and that's something that I feel is important. So wherever the 2 goes, you get this pattern. Now the point is that on the other side of the grid, 1 is now definitely not in the diagonal, is it? So 1 is going to be forced onto the Remban, which will make it extreme, and force 8, 9 here. And the same is going to be true wherever you get an 8 on the diagonal. That's going to force a 9 onto its diagonal, and that's going to force 9 in the opposite corner to be on the Renban, and therefore its string to have to be 1, 2 and a colour. And on the diagonal that has a 9 in the corner, it's an easier question actually, if you think about the opposite corner. Because if you have a 9 in the corner here, where's the 9 in this box? And the answer is it must be on the Renban. And once the 9 is on the Renban, this Renban is extreme. So it must have 8 on it as well. And therefore in that corner you couldn't have a 9 or an 8. So it's actually easier. It's actually easier with the most extreme digit if you look at the opposite corner to say what's going on. And the weird thing is that my brain took me to the intermediate digit to see a point, because I could see by putting 2 on there I then couldn't put 1 on the Renban, which is just my strange brain working. But now I'm in a much happier position, because now, well, am I in a happier position? I'm in a different position. I'm now in a position where what? Let's get rid of that 1 corner mark. I'm in a position where, let me think, sorry, where the Renbans are extreme. So, right. Yeah, okay. So now, because the Renbans are extreme, the thing this affects actually is the x's. This is brilliant. It's just absolutely mad and brilliant. Right, because let's imagine that this is a 1 or a 2 now. Now if it's a 1, yeah, I'm better now. If this is a 1, 1 is on this Renban. So this Renban is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that corner digit is 8 or 9, and these 3 squares must be 8, 9 blue, right? So in that situation, if this is low, we know this can't also be low because of the V. So the other low corner digit is in the same row as this digit. So these would be a 1, 2 pair, these would be an 8, 9 pair. So always what we're getting is the same polarity of digit, the same highness or lowness, horizontally opposite each other. So these are either a 1, 2 pair or an 8, 9 pair, but that has the same effect on the x. The x is 3, 7 or 4, 6. This is 3, 7 or 4, 6. And these are all colourable. Oh, or are they? Well, it depends if I can assume this is a 5 or not. If I could assume that was a 5, that would be a grey digit. because I have to be able to colour these digits. This digit is not this digit, which is a coloured digit. Actually, what we could do, we'll make the middle cell red. Okay, now I can colour this one at least, because this digit is either, well, it's not green, orange, or blue, so it's either grey or red. Now that digit is much less clear. That's not green or red, so it is grey, orange, or blue. Oh, this might not be what we're meant to do, you know. This is too open-ended. The same is going to be true down here, isn't it? This is going to have the opportunity to be red or orange. And then this digit is not blue or red by Sudoku, so it is grey, green, or orange, I think. Bobbins. You, Jay, what games are you playing? Right. So now we will say, it's not this Renban, is it? What have we got going on here? 1, 2, 8, and 9 in the middle box. So these, oh, well, yes, okay, that's interesting. Because these two digits here, they can't be selected from different polarities because this is only a 4-cell Renban. So imagine this was 2 and then you tried to say this is 8. Well, 2 and 8, you need 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 on that Renban to connect them. So this is either a 1-2 pair. So these digits are either 3, 4, or 6, 7, and that's even stranger now because this... No, what's going on now? So this digit also is coloured, but is it coloured this same colour? I think it is. This digit here, which is a colourable digit, is not green, orange, or blue. So it is. So I've now got a red, grey pair, and that means that is not grey because I've got a red, grey pair here. So this is one of those, and presumably. Oh no, I was going to say, well no, I must be able to colour this one a bit then. This one is either green or red, I think. So if it was green, that would be green. Green would be down here. If this is red, red's over here. Red is different from orange. These squares are 1, 2. I'm actually going to pencil mark it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this somehow to do with? See this column? Yeah, that's where it is. Look, column 6. That is all the middly digits. So we've got 1, 2, 8, 9 into the gaps. This is on a Renban, so this is quite an extremely Renban. This Renban doesn't have 5 on it. So 5 is in one of only 2 places in box. It doesn't have 5 on it because imagine this was the most middly digit it could be, which would be 2 or 8. And then it went 2, 2, 3, 4. You couldn't get to 5. No, what I was about to say is nonsense. 2, 3. This Renban maybe. It's a 4-cell sequence that can't really get too involved in low digits, can it? I mean, if this is a 1-4 pair, the only 5 digits this is selectable from are 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So this would have 6, 7, and 8 on it. But if this is 2, 3, this could be 4, 5, 6, 7, or 9, 8, 7, 6. So this always has 6 and 7 on it. Always. So that's not right. So that's not 6 or 7. Okay, so the orange is not 6 or 7. Wherever there's an orange, it's not 6 or 7. come on, Simon. I think we're getting somewhere here. Just have to have a little bit of... Is it something to do with the low digits in this box? No, because that could be low itself. If that was a 5... No, actually, that's a silly thought. See, if they were a 6-7 pair, do I run out? No, that doesn't work. Then I've got too many. You see, there are 5 digits we're interested in, aren't they? 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I've got 4 of them in row 6. So I could put one of them. Ah! No, hang on. Yeah, okay, it's something to do with low digits in this row then, is it? I can't put low digits on this renban. So the low digits, low digits being 1 and 2. The low digits can't go here, they're not there. So they're in 2 of those 3 positions. So if... Oh, that's it. Right. Wow. Okay. Right, so this is the question. The question is, where are 1 and 2 in row 6? Now, we can see they're not on this 4-cell renban, because then this could never be constructed. That's how we've got to place the 6 and the 7 on this renban. So 1 and 2 are not here. They're not coloured digits at all. So we've got these 3 choices. Now what I want to ask is it possible that this square here, this very specifically this square, is it possible that is not low? And I'm going to claim no, it's not possible. Because imagine this was a 1-2 pair. These two squares. Oh, that's terrible. These 2 squares. So, and then imagine this is a 1. Well, if this is a 1, this is a 2. But what's this V then? This V is going to be a 1-4 pair, the same as this. But we know these are different because of our colouring that we did earlier. So it's not, because these are different. Again, there may be a better way of sort of seeing this, but the way I'm seeing it is that I cannot possibly make these 2 squares in row 6 a 1-2 pair. And that means that this square is a 1 or a 2, and therefore it is not an 8 or a 9. And now, these 2 squares, remember, they had to have the same polarity, so they must be 8, 9. This must be a 1 or a 2. See, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of my purple. Can I colour these 1s and 2s by reference to yellow and my lime green colour? I don't know, but these squares are now not 3 or 4. So these are 6 or 7. And they're different. So what does that mean? So this colour, that's it, I've got it. Right, this is red. This is absolutely sublime setting. I mean, this is total and utter genius. If you've seen it, you've seen it. That's all you can say. If you see it, you just go, whoa, I get it now. And I get it. Right. We know this X has 1 of 6 or 7 on it. And whatever variant of 6 or 7 it has, it is not that one. So it must have that one, mustn't it? That must be on this thing. Because it's not that one. These are different because they're on the same renban. So this is on there. And this colour of this is red or green. Well, green apparently is not on there. So this is now red. And if it's red, where does it go on here? And the answer seems to be there. So that is this is a 6 or a 7. That, therefore, is not red. That has become grey, which is that one. So I've now... So this... Oh. Oh, I didn't think that was going to happen, because now I seem to have got 6 and 7. I've not got 5 in the middle. I've got 3, 4, 5 in the other ones. But this digit is now not 6 or 7. So this one, which is blue or orange, so one of these is not 5, because it's that one. And what we're going to then do is... Well, hang on. Red has to be on that remband because that's got 6 and 7 on it. So this is now red. It's the only place that can go. Oh, this is sensational. It's just sensational. Now, grey is 6 or 7. Is that grey, or do we not know? No, we don't know, do we? Because this is a very different kettle of fish. Although, I tell you what I do know. I do know this is orange. And this is for a lovely reason. This square is orange because what would happen if that was red? Well, if it was red, this is a 10 domino, so this would be the counterpart of red that adds up to 10 with it, just as that digit is. So these would be the same digit by mathematics, and that doesn't work. So they'd be in the same column. So this is orange. That is not orange. Orange is... Don't know. Do we know anything about orange? Well, hang on. If that was orange, that should be red. So surely that has to be blue. Because that's right, isn't it? If we're saying orange adds up with green or grey to 10, then if that was orange, that should be green or grey, and it's clearly not. So this is blue. So red and blue add up to 10, which means that that is not a 5. So 5 is in one of these two squares, which means that... Oh, well, this is blue again. So that's a 3 or a 4. Now, do we know that digit is 6 or... is not 6 or 7? This is not a 6... Oh, here we go. Look, grey is there. Which is another win, because we can colour that digit in. So grey... Grey... Grey and red. So red is now in one of those two squares, definitely. Orange is... Oh, orange is low. Oh, hang on, this is huge. Orange is 3, 4 or 5 by the middle box logic. So, but by this logic, it's 3, 4, 6 or 7. So the common digits are 3 and 4. Now I've got a blue... Well, now I've got all sorts of things going on, because I've got a 3, I've got a digit in the puzzle. That's only taken me 43 minutes. But this is orange and blue. But look now, this has to be a 6 or a 7 digit, and the only one that can be 6 and 7 is grey. So this is grey. So grey and orange add up to 10. Blue and red add up to 10, and the spare digit is green, which is 5, and it's off the diagonal. That's 5. That's 5 by dint of our pencil marking. So 5 is green. And what does that mean? Well, oh, okay, this can't be a 1 or a 2, because I can't put 3 on the 3-cell Remban. So that's got to be an 8 or a 9. Which probably matters somehow, doesn't it? Do we know what that digit is? Don't know. I feel like there's all sorts of things going on now. That digit is, look, let's just be careful. Come on, Simon, what is going on? So orange is in one of these squares. So orange in row 1 is in one of these squares. And this is orange. So this contains my low 1 or 2 digit, which is my lime green digit, and the other. So this has got blue. Oh, this has got blue on it. This is nice. This is going to colour these middle box because this domino, which adds up to 5, doesn't include the orange digit. It must include the blue digit, and I can place it exactly there. So this is blue. So this is lime green. The blue digit is the 3 or the 4. The lime green digit is the 1 or the 2, which is, and the reason I'm excited about this, if I could type, is that that means that's lime green, and therefore this one is my yellow digit by a process known as elimination. Now, can I colour? Now this one is different, isn't it? Yes, it works. This one is not this one. We worked out that some hours ago. Therefore, this has orange on it, and that orange digit by Sudoku has to go here, which means this is a 3 or a 4. This is now my yellow digit. So this is yellow by Sudoku. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've not put 5, 8, and 9 into this box. Oh, bother. It must have 8 on it. That is true. I can't make this work without an 8 on it. So, hang on. Does that mean that is a 9? I don't trust that. I'm going to think that through again. Don't really trust that. Is that right? It's either 5, 6, 7, 8, or it's 6, 7, 8, 9. So there is an 8 here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, so this is a naked single, I think. That's a 9, that's an 8, that's a 9. That's a 9 by Sudoku. We could have cracked the puzzle open here, you know. So these squares are now a 5, 8 pair. And all we've got to do now is... What are those digits? Why can't I immediately see that? One of them is an 8. Are they 8, 5? They are. They're 8, 5, aren't they? Oh, bother. So, okay, so where's 5 in column 1? It's only got one place to go. That's there. So 5 is in one of these squares. So 5 is in one of these squares. Oh, no, that's not resolved. But I think we're getting somewhere. Right, okay, so... Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Right. What is the nature of this renban? Now, we've worked out it's got a high digit on it. And these are selected from the digits 6, 7, 8, and 9. How could it be 6, 7, 8? It couldn't be 6, 7, 8 because that would kill this square. It would have no option. So this is 9, 8, 7. And this digit is now a 6 by process of elimination. So this is... Let's just think about this. So this is 6. That's 4. So orange, wherever it lives, is 4. And let's pencil mark the corners then, where we have that opportunity. Yellow has just become 1 by mathematics on the V. So that means that green has become 2, lime green. Blue has become 3. Red has become 7. 7 is on this renban, it's there. So let's actually make sure that we've recorded that properly. This is a 9. Oh, whoopsie, whoopsie. This digit is a 9 by Sudoku. It sees 8 above it. This is now 1 or a 2, which we can colour using the power of yellow. So that's a 2, which is the lime green digit. This is now a 2, 4 pair by the looks of things. Let's put that in case that's helpful. This digit is a 9, which has never earned a colour. Naughty 9. And these squares are 1, 8. Okay, that might not be resolved. What about those? That must be doable. 2 and 3. This is not a 1. This is not a 1. This is not a 2. This is not a 2. And all we've got to do now is just figure, there's probably virtually nothing to do now. Famous last words. All we've got to do is, I think probably Sudoku 7 is in one of 2 places. So 7 is in one of 2 places in box 1. 7. And we know, okay, we know that the corner digits are, the corner diagonals are always extreme plus a coloured digit, aren't they? So if this was a 2, there would be a 1 in one of, there'd be a 1 here. If this is 2, this is 1, and this is grey. If this is 8 or 9, then there's an 8 or a 9 in one of those. Couldn't be here by Sudoku, would have to be here. And this would be grey, and grey is 6. So probably, let's think about this. There's a 3 in one of those, a 6 in one of these, 5 in, 5s and 4s. So if this is a 1, there's a 2 in one of these. It's still working. If this is an 8 or a 9, then there is an 8 or a 9 in one of these. Oh bother, sorry. I think this is basically done. I just need to spot the Sudoku. It's not going to be something horrendous like this. This is very restricted because it sees lots of different digits. 2, 5, 8, 9, this square. Depends what that is then, doesn't it? Don't like that. What about, I'm not actually sure where to look, sorry about this. If this was, no, if that's a 1, it's fine, isn't it? If it's a 1, it's going to be something like, I can almost get it in this box, it doesn't quite work, but let me explain. If that was a 1, then there has to be a 2 in one of those, and look, it almost can't go in. That would be 1, that would be 2, that would be 3. By my earlier sort of parity or shuffling around or forcing the rem bands to be extreme. That's what it feels like it's about, actually. And there's going to be, see, these 9s aren't quite, if they were offset so they saw both of those digits, then you could rule 8 out from this square. It's going to be something like that. Yeah. Yes, there. That's where it is. Or at least there's something. These 2 squares cannot be 9. So how could this be 8? If this is 8 and these can't be 9, these can't be 9. We're putting 9 on the rem band, which requires an 8 on the rem band, which would require a second 8 in box 9. So this is not 8. So this is 1 or 9. The 8 is in the other corners, which means there is a 9 either here, 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 or here. Now it's not here, and it's not here, and it's not there. So I think, yes, in fact the better way of doing that is to look at this box, isn't it? Where is, can you put 8 in the corner of this box? No, because 9 can't go in those squares. Oh, this, I love this. This is just absolutely mesmerizingly brilliant. And now, oh no, I thought I was going, no, and this is wrong. Well, no, it's not wrong. For some reason I thought this couldn't be an 8. Why did I think that? That's not even true. No, it's not true. Oh no, okay, sorry, I thought I was, that logic was still good. it's still true to say this can't be an 8. I've now got the 8 into one of these two squares, which ironically means that in the final grid there will be a 9 in one of these 4 squares, and it's not in row 2, is it? So there is a 9 here, which looks possible, or a 9 here. One of those 2 digits is a 9. Which? Can we see which one it is? Is there a way to tell? And we know whichever one of these has got an 8 in the corner, the other digit over here is going to be a 2 or a 1 in this case. So if it was a 1 here, this would be a 2. If it was a 2 here, this would be a 1. Oh, we're so close, aren't we? If that's... We were... Yeah, no. Right. One of the things we worked out earlier is that the parity of high and low digits is going across the grid, didn't we? So we said that either, if this was 2, for example, we said that was 1, or this was 8, 9. That was one of the things we worked out, because the parity sort of swaps across the diagonal. For example, if this is 2, because we can't put 1 on the Renban, then 1 is in one of these squares. So this diagonal is made up of high digits. So what that means is now, because we can't put 8 in either of those squares, this is a 1-2 pair. And that is sensational. That is it. That is it. So this is now an 8-9 pair across the top of the grid, but we're going to be able to do loads now, because now this needs a 2 in one of these squares, and that 2 goes there. So this is 2, this is 3, so 3 in one of those squares by Sudoku. This is 5, 8, 9 up here on the diagonal, and that's not 9. It's a 5-8 pair in column 2, but we need a 1 on this diagonal, so that's 1, that's 6. So there's a 6 either here or here. We should get rid of the grey, shouldn't we? 1 is a yellow digit, so let's make sure that we identify it appropriately. So this is the blue digit, this is the lime green digit. So nearly. Lime green is in one of those squares. What? Oh, nearly again. I keep nearly spotting things. 1 is in one of those, showing that this squiggle is extreme. And 3, 7, 8, 9. This square is restricted. It's 3 or 9 by Sudoku. But we can't put 3 or 4 here on this diagonal. Oh, this diagonal is definitely made up of 4. And it's definitely made up of 1 of 8 and 9. So the digits here are from 4, 8, 9, and that's not 9. So that's annoying. But that does seem to mean that this is a 3, which is something. So 3 is a blue digit. 3 is in one of these 2 squares. 3 is in one of those 2 squares by Sudoku. So where is 3 in column 2? It's there. So that's 3, that's 2. 2 is a lime green, 3 is a blue. That's definitely not lime green anymore, is it? So 2 is in either this square, oops, oh hang on, 2 is in one of those squares. Ah no, that doesn't quite map out to where I was hoping it was going to go. Maybe it's the 5, 8 pair in this column. So what do we need? 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah. Where's... No, that doesn't work. Sorry, not 4, 5, 6, 7. 5 is in a 5, 8 pair. There will be. So it's not that. It's 2, 4, 6, 7, isn't it? So that digit is 4 or 7. 2, 4. That digit's naked single. That's a 7. So let me just double check this. In this column is what I'm saying. I've got 1, 3, 5, 8, 9. So 2, 4, 6, 7. That is naked. That's a 7. That's a 4. So this is a 4, which places 1, 1, 8, 5, 5, 8. Just doing Sudoku, nothing clever at all there. And in this column, what do we need now? 2 and no, not 2 and 5, 2 and 6. Yeah, we can do it. 6 goes at the top then. 6 and 2, 2 and 4. 4 goes here on this triple. These two squares are a 1, 2 pair, and we can do that. 1, 2. Wow. 5, 6, 7. So 5 must go here. 7 must go here. 6 must go here. I mean, I've really messed up all my my colouring's all gone. You know, I haven't kept up with it, but I think we're still in reasonable shape now, aren't we? Where should we go now? 6, 8, 9. This is a naked single. That's an 8. So that's an 8. That's a 9. That's an 8. That's a 5. This is a 5. That's a 6. In this box we need 4, 7, 9. So 7 goes here, 4 goes here, 9 goes here. In the bottom row we need an 8. We haven't had one of those yet, so all of these get filled in. This is a 3, 7 pair. Still looks like it might be working. This is now a 9, and that might be a 3. Now, admittedly, there's a lot. Well, what? Oh, I don't know what I should do now to make this consistent. Let's do it this way. Every 4 in the grid, let's highlight all of those and make those all orange. Every 2 in the grid, highlight all those, make those all lime green. Every 1 in the grid, these all need to become yellow. Every 9 in the grid doesn't deserve a colour at all. Every 8 in the grid doesn't deserve a colour at all. Every 7 in the grid is meant to be red, according to my earlier colour scheme. Every 6 in the grid is meant to be grey. And every 5 in the grid is meant to be dark green. And we're just left, I think, I mean, I've probably messed it up and I've got some digit in here which is being tricky and has 2 shadings in it, and everyone's going to get cross with me. But I think that is, let's see. Yes, it was correct. That, well, I can understand why it's turned people into basket cases. I mean, it's mesmerizing, this one. This is very clever. I mean, I was slow to thinking correctly. I don't really understand the way my brain worked on these squiggles. I don't understand how I could see the effect on the middly digit, the 8 and the 2 on the Renban, whereas I couldn't see arguably the simpler point, which is if you put 9 in the corner, in the opposite corner you've then got 9 on the squiggle, so you've got to have 8 on the squiggle. So the corner digit obviously can't be 9 or 8 and must be 1, or it must be low, and you can't put 1 or 2 on the Renban, so you have to have 1 and 2 on the diagonal. And that, I mean, admittedly, as I talk through it there, it's maybe not completely and utterly trivial, but it's so important. And then, you know, and then you get this horizontal polarity pairing stuff, which is just amazing for fixing these X's. And then there was some stuff with the Renbans that allowed the colouring to progress. I mean, the depth and the quality of this puzzle is brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. Jay, take another bow. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.